All right, Welshly Arms, it's nice to have you here. Nice to have you back, I can say. Because
it's good to be back.
Yeah,
2
thanks for
months
having us
ago,
back.
you visited us at the Radio Regenbogen Award. Do you remember anything about that night? What comes to your mind first?
Well, first of all, it was our first award, I think, that we've won as a band. So that was really special for us. It was at an amusement park.
Yes.
And we got to ride some rides. That was quite fun. And the after party was fun too.
It was,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yes, it
I
was.
imagine, or I remember a video on Instagram where you guys jammed with the other artists, I think Nico Santos.
Yeah, back
and
at the hotel.
Vincent Weiss,
Yes.
Vincent Weiss in German.
Yes, we did.
Are you guys still in contact? Because
Yeah, we just saw Vincent the other day at a different little festival that we did a week ago.
All right.
And I haven't seen Nico since. Actually, I think we ran into him one time since.
Was it Hamburg, maybe?
But-
Did you see
yeah.
the Hamburg?
Energy?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
might have
think
been.
that, yeah.
Probably,
So
probably.
we ran into him once, but I've stayed in touch with Vincent a little bit.
That's cool.
By text.
That's cool. But making music together didn't happen so far.
Not yet.
Not
But
yet.
just for fun, just the jam session.
Where did you guys store the award?
We luckily we all got to take one home.
Yeah,
So
it actually ties my living room together quite
It does?
nicely.
Ooh, nice. Mine is by my record player in the studio.
All right. Okay.
Mine is on my fireplace mantle.
Fireplace. All right. Fireplace is kamin, right? Kamin, a fireplace is where you.
Your mantle above your fireplace.
Okay,
where you
all
would,
right.
Have your fire in
All
your
right.
house. Yes.
Okay, makes sense. Yes.
Yes.
My English is high school level, so if I miss some words, please help me out.
It's still a million miles better than our Deutsch.
Yeah, Deutsch is pretty hard.
It's tough for us. Yeah.
English is not as hard as German. All right. Radio Regenbogen Award was not the only event where you appeared. Like there are, since Legendary, you are on promotion tour. Like right now, you visited radio stations, played in front of thousands of people, and I can imagine it's pretty awesome because you do what you love most the whole day. But it's also stressful. Like you described on your album title, No Place is Home, which sounds very sad, actually. Why? Why is no place like home?
Yeah, it is sad. It can be sad, but the way that we use it is, it's almost it's sort of the opposite of sad. It kind of reminds us that really, home is around you. It's what you love and what you surround yourself with. So for us, it's the 6 of us on stage, and that really becomes our home. We've been gone so much for the last year that the title of that record seemed appropriate because we just don't know where home is, but we know it's around us and it's with us. And we all live in Cleveland, Ohio. Back in the States, and we all really love that community and that town, and we call that home. We're just not there that much right now. Yeah.
So home is where the heart is. As cheesy as it sounds,
I know.
but,
Yeah, but it is.
That's
It's
how
true.
it is. All right. What I found very interesting is that you actually built yourself a home in Cleveland, Ohio, because you wanted to write songs, and then you rent a farmhouse, right?
Yeah,
So-
we found an old...
Did you sleep there too?
No.
No?
We've fallen asleep working on music before.
I actually slept there the other night.
You might be the first person ever sleeping.
Yeah.
Huh? But yeah, usually it's just there. There's no beds, just a couple couches, and then a lot of instruments and all of our recording equipment. And we spend a lot of time there when we're home making music.
How did you discover that?
Well, when we started the band, we always made our own records, and we still do that. It used to be in my basement. We had a studio, and then it moved to Jimmy's house, our bass player's house, and we worked out of his house for a while. And then we realized that as we kind of grew and we were working a lot more on music, we needed more space, and we needed a space where it wasn't going to bug the other people that we live with, and so we decided to find another house that kind of felt the same, still had that. We like that vibe of working out of a house rather than an industrial studio.
So how can we imagine a day at that house? Like, did you all just wrote songs or jammed for yourselves in other rooms, and at the end of the day you came together and just shared your best ideas?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes
It's got a very homey vibe because like we'll all go in the morning or something like that. Maybe I'll track drums first, but everybody's walking around with their coffee and like their snacks, and then it's almost like a 9-to-5 job. Like we'll break at like noon for lunch. We'll all go to some restaurant, grab lunch, and then come back and listen back through the takes. And then maybe Sam will throw a guitar thing down, or Brett will play keys. And it's very, very relaxed.
Okay, so it was inspiring because you hear in that house music all day. Did any of you sometimes came to a point where you weren't creative at all, and then someone like Sam came and said, it doesn't matter, I don't know what to do now too? So how did that work? How did the process of songwriting, how did that work in that house?
Yeah, that, stuff, a lot of the songs come together over time. So there are, we never put ourselves in a situation where in one day, this is the day that we have to write a new song and get it started. We let it sort of happen when it happens. So sometimes a song might start while we're on tour. And then we go back and maybe I've already put down a guitar part or a vocal part, and then we kind of arrange it sometimes before we cut the drums. And obviously the song will take form as everybody puts their ingredients on it, but we've never really felt the pressure of having to be on all the time, because there's always, with 6 people, there's always a different thing that could get put. So we might have 4 songs that are being worked on at the same time. So if John and Bree are over to sing some vocals and one of them doesn't work, we just go to the next song, and or if it's drums and we're not liking the groove that we thought we would like, we might just put it aside, do something else, come back to it. And that's how you kind of keep it moving.
Was there anything you were afraid of before releasing the new album?
Yeah, for me, I was afraid that people wouldn't like the songs, or that we picked the wrong songs to put on the record, or you get worried about everything. It's your child in a way. It's something that you've been working on for so long and you're so excited to get out, but at the same time you're nervous. What's the world going to think of it? Did we put the songs in the right order? Is it going to feel weird? Is it and I've been pleasantly surprised with the feedback that we've gotten from other people, and that's what makes me then relax and feel good about it.
And with each record we've put out too, there's always been kind of a shift, like sonically and musically. So that's always kind of a wonder in the back of your mind too, is like, okay, they like the last record, are they gonna like this one? Because this one's a little bit like that one, but it's kind of growing in a different direction. So you kind of just want to make sure you're still on the trajectory.
Yeah.
What was the best feedback for you? What's a good feedback? Where you say, wow, that was,
the best. Probably for me, it was the first positive feedback from the record that I heard just was the biggest relief, to just see someone really digging in. And then at one point we asked on Facebook and Instagram what people's favorite songs were. And when people really get into their descriptions of why they like certain songs, that just makes you feel really, really good as a writer and performer, to know that people are not just listening to it and saying like, oh, that's a nice song, but they're actually have reasons why they liked it, or why it touched them, or why they want to listen to it on repeat.
Yeah,
and diverse too, because like it wouldn't be just like, oh, we like Sanctuary, or we only like Legendary. Oh, we like this song. We like this song. It was like every song that was on the record.
Every song got mentioned.
So that was really positive to hear.
But would you say, or are you sometimes afraid of the fact that this long player thing, like there are not so many long players anymore, like the trend is just to hit for hit? How do you feel about that? Like, you think I
wish it was how it was when I was growing up, and people were more excited about the long play. And you can feel it in the music industry too, that people are focused more on singles, and you need a big song. You need a big song. We try not to let that change the way that we do things, and we really wanted a record. We wanted a long play record, and we wanted to have something at the beginning, like something kind of quirky or something that just set a mood. So we did that with. We led the record off with a song called "All the Way Up," and it starts with sort of this instrumental spaghetti western kind of thing. And that was always something that was important to us. That we just wanted to set the tone and not make it so serious about every song, and make it like it was just a bunch of individual songs for radio or something, but actually a record that you could go and listen to. And obviously you need to have some songs on there that are going to grab attention and get people looking for the record. Otherwise, I don't know how people would find it, but we really try not to let that affect the way that we put the whole long play together.
Yeah, I can imagine it's hard for artists to develop or to grow if you don't get the chance to.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I picked some songs from the album I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
One is Down to the River. That was my favorite song because you got me from the first second on. And I love gospel. Where did you get this good taste of music from?
Well, we all kind of grew up in different backgrounds, and some of us were exposed to gospel music and soul music and Motown. John and his wife Bree, who is also in the band, she's up there, right there. On that song in particular, that's like where they shine. The beginning is Bree just belting, and
that's Bree. That's Bree at the beginning.
Yeah,
all right, okay, good to know. Yeah,
and so that's one of my favorites too, because it just really gets to highlight.
Yeah, and she's awesome.
Talent.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And but they grew up singing gospel, and probably very influenced by that. I just listened to it a lot, but that's kind of what our sound is. It's this collaboration of many different backgrounds, and most of us grew up in a pretty musical household, except for this guy.
Yeah, not me.
but he got a drum set at a young age and listened to a lot of punk rock, and so that that influences, that keeps us kind of moving and keeps the rock and roll side alive in our music. We have a couple classical trained guys, our pianist and our bassist. We're classically trained. Brett, the keyboardist, also comes from a long line of piano instructors. His mother and his grandmother were piano teachers, and so he just has that in his blood. But my dad was a rock and roll drummer, had a great record collection, and that turned me on to so many different kinds of music and had me digging for more and going deeper into blues and Motown and stuff like that.
Do you still have musical idols?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably too many to mention, but for me it all started with guitar rock and roll, like 60s stuff, like Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Cream, stuff like that was really influential.
Okay, imagine Jimi Hendrix is still alive.
Yeah.
What song would you show him from the album, and why?
Whoa. Wow, that's a good question. Oh, man. Down to the River, maybe. Let me think about that for a little bit.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah, wow, because that's a lot of pressure. That would be, my biggest influence. So trying to show him something that I did, that would be.
What's the song about, Down to the River, in your words?
It's sort of about, honesty and people that talk a good talk, and you're questioning whether they can actually back it up and follow through. It was largely inspired by our presidential race was around the same time that song got written, and there were a couple characters in that, and one in particular that is still around, and it was just they talk a lot and they say a lot of things, and it's just wondering if they're gonna actually follow through and if they actually believe it themselves or if they're just.
Can I ask who is it?
You don't need to. You don't even need to ask.
Would you say you can read people easily? Like,
no.
Is that your exercise maybe as an artist, to read people? or is it rather to tell your own story?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
For you or for me?
Any of us?
I don't know. I think I could have a pretty good BS detector here and there, but yeah, I think so. But for probably, I mean, just me personally. So like but I could also be wrong. Be like, I don't really like that guy. I got a weird vibe from him, and he ends up being like the coolest dude ever. I'm like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah. On that note, performing can be really tricky sometimes because there are people in the audience, and some of them really show it on their faces that they're enjoying themselves. Some of them might even be faking it a little bit just because they want you to feel good or something. I think that happens sometimes. But then there's people that look like they're just miserable, like they don't want to be there at all. And you start to if you think about it too much when you're on stage, you get in your own head, and it really
Do you even have time to think about this? Do you even have time to look at people's faces? Because you as an audience, you never think the artist is looking at you, actually.
Yeah, if the lights aren't blinding and you can really see, then you're looking. But I've sort of developed a technique where I never really let it get in here, so I still see it kind of superficially, and the reason is those people will get in your head, the ones that like, arms crossed and that you can't tell if they're enjoying themselves. But the funny thing is, almost every time there'd be a guy that would be doing that, and I would think, I just can't get, I would even try something on the guitar, like maybe he likes the guitar stuff, and he's still just, and then at the end of the show, he comes up and he still has that look, but he's like,
it's just a resting bitch
the best show I've ever seen in my life. I can't even thank you enough for that. I needed that, And you're like, wow, okay, I did not think you liked it.
But you couldn't stop thinking about that one guy who looked like that.
So that's something you have to sort of learn to deal with, is not letting because it's usually not even true what you project. It's the same, in daily life when you meet someone and you get a feeling like maybe they don't like you and you get insecure about it. Odds are they're probably feeling the same way, and they were a little insecure about the exchange. So,
would you say? I mean, you're standing in front. Would you say you are an entertainer by nature, or is that something you had to learn, being in front?
For me, I had it in there, but I had to learn it and like bring it out, bring that side of me. I think it was one side, but it didn't just happen in one show. It took time. Even when we started this band, it was an adjustment. At least for myself, I was playing a different role because I had always played guitar in bands. Early on, I had been a lead singer of a band that Mikey and I had in high school, but then I kind of stopped doing that and just played guitar behind other singers. And so I had to learn that role and be the kind of the front person. And it wasn't just a natural, like, boom, first show was great. It took a lot of learning. I'm still learning, still figuring it out.
I think it's helpful to not be alone on stage.
Yeah, having 5 of your best friends with you there, you can kind of go through anything and know that it's going to be good. And even if you have a tough show or something, you walk off stage and everybody else is like, hey man, good job, and it kind of brings you back. You always share those moments together, and they know the good ones and the bad ones, and we've shared them together.
Let's talk about another song, of course, Sanctuary, the latest single. You're singing "You Are Safe with Me." This is our sanctuary. This is my sanctuary. In times like these, what is your sanctuary? Like, what brings you? What gets you to calm down, or to feel less anxiety? Maybe.
For me, I'd say my sanctuary is the stage and playing with the 5 of the fellas, or the 4 fellas, and my wife and the lady. That's my safe place, is the stage, especially with as much traveling as we're doing. We're getting to know each other a lot more, so we've become a close-knit family. And that's where I feel most comfortable, especially when we're gone. That's the time where we can all sink in and be on the same page and really enjoy each other. So yeah, that's my safe place.
Yeah. What is your safe place?
And so we all, I think, share that with John.
That's the perfect answer.
Very much a great place. But then there's different moods that call for different things. So, like Netflix, binge watching a series on Netflix could be
and I think Netflix may be my sanctuary.
Yeah, I think it might be yours too. Breeze would be a good book, I think, and mine would be a good record, or at least a good digital record in my phone that I can put through my headphones. So when we're on the road and you just need some peace and calming, that's a good way to do it.
All right. And another song I picked is Indestructible, because I think it's interesting. It's like very funky, and you I think you said you want the people to dance to that music.
Yeah.
When you write songs, do you think about things like that? Okay, we have so many strong ones, some melancholic. Now we need something people can dance to.
Yeah,
or did it just come?
Both. We think about that kind of stuff a lot, and if we've written a bunch of songs in a row that are kind of mid-tempo, maybe guitar-driven songs, we might want to change it up with something. So I think Indestructible was one of those where we wanted something that just had like a good feel to it, good beat, and we just kind of sat down and wrote that one. Because of that. That one actually is a really good example of just trying to have something that felt a certain way.
Where do you imagine people to listen to your songs? Like when you think about something, where can you imagine they are listening to?
Because of how I listen to music, I just see people with a pair of headphones, like, in their element, wherever that is. So
anywhere,
sitting out in a park or something, and
we're looking at it cover to cover, like we did when we were younger, laboring over the artwork and looking at the backtrack. And
I wish we could have given them a big booklet to read through, because that's how we always took in our records. I'd go to the record store and pick one out, and then learn all about the band while I'm learning the music. That was always really fun. I kind of miss those days.
You still go to the record store sometime?
If we see one when we're on the road, we like to stop in. It's really hard to carry records around in your suitcase. That's the only problem. So I think that's one of the positive sides of digital music, is just how mobile it is. So now I can listen to any record I want all the time, and that is pretty awesome.
There's one thing that all of your songs have in common, and that is that they sound so extremely big and epic in a way. So they are made for the big stage. What do you think? Do you prefer like small stage pubs? Maybe, I don't know if you've performed in pubs at Cleveland, maybe. Or do you like the really, really big stage?
Both. They both have different feels to them. So like the small pub or a small club could be really, really cool, because you get to be a little bit more intimate with the crowd, and you might be able to get away with doing a few more things that you normally wouldn't in a big like arena crowd. The arena crowd is fun because you get to be queen for a night, and you get to just blow it all out. If you get the pyro and you get to have that, or if you get the big lights going, that's just, it's just fun.
Yeah. And then for example, we played a festival in our home state of Ohio on Friday, and it was pretty big, and it was a big lawn full of people, but they were pretty close. And some of those festivals, they're a little bit further away, and that felt really good. So I love when people can be close, and if they're too far away, it can make the feeling a little bit disconnected. So I kind of prefer the club, but just because of that. I like people really close. I like to kind of feel them and have them really feel what we're doing. And Mikey has always said this, but we really kind of consider the audience as like the seventh band member, and we really love when that feeling really transfers to them. And so when John and Bree are dancing and moving, people start to do the moves or are singing back, that really makes for a fun night. And pretty much when that starts to happen, it's gonna be good.
Do you notice that immediately if the audience connects? Is that something that can develop or something that just happens?
It can develop, but you definitely know if it's possible pretty quickly.
First note in, for the most part.
You can just tell if people are that type of crowd, if they're going to be ready to do that. But they usually do grow into it. But it helps when at least a handful of people are ready and willing right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. Is there any song from the album you're looking forward to performing live most? Anything?
Yeah, we've been starting to try out some of them already. And so Down to the River is one of my favorites to play live. For the same reasons why I like it on the record. I really like to hear Bree belt. And I just think it's like you had said earlier, it's one of the really big sounding songs. And I love playing that live. And I've been having fun playing Indestructible live. Yeah,
right.
They all excite me in their own ways. Yeah,
I think they're all pretty good. The ones that we've tried playing so far, they all translate very well to the audience. My personal favorite would be Wild, along with Indestructible. But Wild's a high energy, fun, let your hair down type of vibe that it gives off, and it translates very, very well.
Are you guys dancing on stage, or?
Just John and Bree dance their ass off.
He dances in his soul.
It's an
but you're not doing an extra choreography before, or you do.
It's
just from that.
It's amazing actually to watch them put their thing together. Sometimes when we're practicing a new song, I'll just kind of look over and see Bree like whisper as we're playing the song, and she'll be like. And then all of a sudden we hit the chorus and they both do the same thing. And it's something you've never seen before, but they just speak their own language and they just by like one move, the other kind of does it. They've just been doing it so long together that they're smooth. Yeah,
where can we see that? Where can we see that next? I think you are coming back to Germany in November.
I don't have the dates in front of me, but in November we are definitely coming back and doing clubs.
Doing clubs in Frankfurt, I guess. Yeah.
Zoom. Zoom in Frankfurt.
Okay.
Was that the second of November? Yeah. November 2.
Might be. All right. Okay. How do you like the German audience?
We really like the German audience.
Of course, you like the German audience.
They embraced it so early, and. So coming over here and getting to play for people that already knew Legendary and then have grown to know some of the other songs, it's really, really fun. And they just seem so appreciative of having, our music over here. So they're really thankful that we brought it. I really can't say a bad thing about the German audience.
The Germans are really into soccer, into football. Are you going to watch the football championship, World Championship?
I hope we do this year. I personally, always have to disclose this. I grew up in a small town in Ohio where there was no soccer teams, and so I didn't have any good soccer influences. I think a couple of the guys in the band actually played soccer growing up. You were on a team for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm still wearing the shoes.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay.
You do actually, yeah.
I played when I was a kid, but that was about it. Like in Cleveland, we didn't really have a good football team.
Yeah, we don't have professionals.
So yeah. And it's still not very widely popular in the U.S., but we will root for Germany for sure.
Yeah, so Germany is our team now that U.S. didn't make it into the World Cup.
Very good.
So
very good. All right.
Go Germany.
Thank you. We're looking forward to everything that comes this year for you. We hope you get successful with the album, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It was our pleasure.
Thank you.